7 of Facebook is Our Future.
Some trolls out there who are not bothered by the fact that their real name and photograph are on display and will still engage in questionable behavior online regardless of this. That's all fine and good and whatever, but these people should know that everything you say or do inside of Facebook's virtual environment social media platform is basically being recorded, and that data is then fed into a supercomputer which then proceeds to build what is the subject of this section, your personality model. Basically what that means is that Facebook Corporation is extracting data from everything you say, the tone of voice in which you say it, the body language and facial expressions when you say it, the type of content you like, the type of content you dislike, your political beliefs, the type of people you are attracted to, the type of people you are repulsed by, the type of products you buy, information from your calendar of events, where you were at 1 o'clock p.m. last Thursday, what websites you've bookmarked, who your friends are, who your real friends are, who your fake online friends are, news stories that made you mad, news stories that made you sad, news stories that made you glad, your astrological sign, your overall energy levels on 3 p.m. on Tuesdays in the month of March. Which day of the week are you most productive? Which day of the week are you least productive? Which time of the year are you most productive? Which phase of the moon are you most productive? What is your energy level on rainy days? What is your energy level on sunny days? Do you like to wake up early? Do you like to sleep in late? Are you a light sleeper? Can you sleep through a lot of noise? What is your favorite foods are? What your favorite color is? What is your favorite type of pet? Do you like to work in a group? Are you an independent person? What's your lucky number? Etc., etc. I'd like to go on, but at last. Man by his lonesome cannot match the speed of modern machines. Facebook is not only gathering data from its users on its own website, but now, because Facebook's virtual comments section in 2030 is about as ubiquitous as the almighty Discus platform is today, they're gathering data from the comments you make as well, and it doesn't even begin to end there. In that long list I just rattled off, I only happen to mention data that most people are aware of that they are giving up. But what about data that you are giving up of which you are not aware of? And in order to explain better what I'm trying to say here, let me ask you some questions. Think back to the last time you attended a 3D movie at IMAX theater. Hypothetically speaking, of course, what if your friend who was with you beforehand asked you if you could answer these questions by the end of the movie? What was the best part of the movie? What was the worst part? What was the scariest part? What was the funniest moment? Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Most people would have no problems providing answers to these basic questions by the end of the movie. But what if that same friend asked you how many times did your eyes blink per minute during each scene? What if you were asked to keep track of your heart rate during climatic moments of the movie? And what if you were asked also to monitor your blood pressure, measure your body temperature fluctuations and perspirational level, and cross-reference that data against every action sequence in the movie? What if your friend asked you to keep track of and remember every facial expression you made in the order you made them during each scene? Most people obviously would have more difficulty answering these set of questions than they did the first set. This article from France 24, December 24th, 2017, ad firms using tools to help them read your mind, which they actually removed shortly before I recorded this, so I am including the same story from Yahoo. And it describes how advertising firms, including Ipsos, are using eye tracking software and hardware to sort of tap into our unconscious to divine invisible forces that drive our spending decisions. Using gadgets to track eye movements, computer maps of faces capture a momentary grin, approval, or squinting, anger, and sensors to measure perspiration or monitor brain activity. Companies are mining consumers' raw emotions for information. Now, this is the part that I thought was kind of interesting, and what I'm trying to explain when I was using that movie theater example there. Quote, it's not that people won't tell you, they actually can't tell you why they're making the decisions they're making. That was kind of creepy to me. Anyway, so you see, though, that corporations they've been somewhat handicapped in how they target today's consumer. What do I mean by that? Well, answer me these questions, if you will. How many of you have purchased something, say, from Amazon, only to be shown an advertisement of the very same product which you had already ordered? I'm not an advertisement expert, so I'm hoping someone can explain this practice to me. But in what world is showing an advertisement to someone who has already made that purchase of that product a productive use of advertisers' resources? How does that strategy benefit anyone, either the advertisement or advertiser or the person being advertised to? How does that benefit them? Seriously, answer me that in the comments below if you can. I genuinely would like to know. Chances are, A, they only needed that product once and will never need it again, or B, if they need that product again, they will have most likely bookmarked the page in which the product was on, and if they need it again, they'll know exactly where to go to. At no point in time did an advertisement plastered on another site of a product already ordered benefit anyone. So you see, though, that's exactly what I'm talking about and that's what I mean when I say corporations are somewhat handicapped. They just don't have enough data on each individual to target them specifically. But that will all change with this technology and, of course, with a virtual environment where your personality model plays an important role in mining data, but also because of the nature of the hardware, every individual has to register their own hardware, and it's tied to one person. That's part of it too. So it's all tailored to individual experiences. And I see no reason at all why Facebook would not try to include this into their Oculus headgear. Boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot more to talk about with this personality model. However, in the interest of time, I need to cut this short and get on to the next section. One more thing about the personality model that I absolutely need to talk about quickly here, simply for the reason that it is so bizarre and quite frankly disturbing, and I'd be kicking myself if I neglected to mention it here, and that is one of the terms that you agree to in Facebook's Terms of Service Agreement to be part of the virtual environment social media platform is that you must forfeit all rights of ownership of your personality model to Facebook. Essentially, your personality model becomes property of Facebook Corporation, and Facebook can then use and take from it anything that they want to. The disturbing aspect to this is when someone dies in real life, their virtual clone carries on just as it normally would if that person were still alive. Now, because no one ever leaves their houses and they practically live in a virtual world 24/7, months can go by before friends and family discover that a loved one is actually dead and they've been talking to their clone the whole time. one of the telltale signs that you are talking to a virtual clone rather than a real person is that when a clone doesn't know the answer to a question you have asked it, it will have a tendency to talk in circles rather than admit that it doesn't know the answer. Anyways, I know that was a bizarre twist of turn, but I needed to include that as part of one of the warnings. There are going to be other concerns that rise up from the personality model, but that was just one of them I felt I needed to include in this section. But in some strange way, with that in mind, with the thing I just talked about here, you could look at it as sort of like Facebook achieving some kind of weird immortality, and immortality being achieved within a virtual environment, so that with that in mind, put your faith and trust in Facebook and you shall have everlasting life.